Thank you for the opportunity to be part of this case study. I will walk you through our presentation agenda. Today, we will discuss case background information, supplier risk, our scorecarding method and supplier risk rankings, inventory changes and potential obsoletes at Glasswork, Fabricata's capacity utilization and inventory capacity, and potential constraints and bottlenecks you may run into. Lastly, we will present our final results and conclusion.
MediCrystals is a leading German pharmaceutical company who supplies over 120 countries and manufactures around 8 billion pharma glasses containers for drugs annually. MediCrystal also plans to provide pharma vials for COVID-19, in which they have signed agreements with major pharmaceutical firms. As of now, vaccines will be stored in glass vials, and once approved, manufacturers will struggle to supply for vials, syringes, and ampules.
In addition to the 2 risk domains the Risk Compliance Manager gave us, we also identified other domains based off the provided data, including supply chain and data safety. We put the risk factors from the corresponding data into domains in order to identify what part of that supplier created the most risk. When adding all of the scores of each risk domain together, we were able to identify which supplier posed the most risk overall. Each risk factor here receives a grade A through F. The grade also determines a numeric value of 5 to 1. The scorecard includes a description of what the factor means as well as a chart of how it should be graded. Each factor scored is multiplied by a weight percentage, which was determined by the importance of the factor within the domain. All the factors within the domain and the 4 total domains are added to give a percentage and grade scored to the supplier according to the grading charts. After conducting scorecards to each supplier, we rank them from 1 to 12, having the least to the most risk according to their percentage and score.
Most SKUs are low-priced and low to medium demand volatility. Yearly inventory should decrease by 2.4%, which will free working capital and warehouse space. Price and volatility do not have a clear correlation, but expensive SKUs tend to have low to medium volatility, while low-priced items are highly volatile. We recommend keeping a small buffer for expensive products, but monitoring it closely for demand changes, spoilage, and theft. Keep extra buffer for frequently used and expensive goods, and have periodic inventory checks. Having excess inventory, roughly 10% above historical average, decreases the likelihood you will get to it before it expires. Longer lead times decrease available product shelf life. Most of your current inventory is at high risk of obsolescence. MediCrystals should clean out its current inventory, prioritize use by expiration date, create and enforce a formal reorder schedule, and monitor obsolescence risk regularly for its inventory.
With our new facility located in Chicago, Fabricata's, there was a concern of capacity constraints. Again, the 3 main products being manufactured are ampules, syringes, and vials, all of which have a 4-step manufacturing process being tubing, forming, washing, and packaging. Now, as you can see the table on the right, looking at the data, we were able to find that Fabricata's products' capacity utilization are well above average. Assuming the minimum lot size were 5, we were able to calculate total product cycle time for the 3 products. To your bottom left, we were able to break down cycle time per manufacturing step. With the lot size being 5, we also narrowed down operating days, and with that being said, we calculate Fabricata's capacity per quarter as shown to your bottom right. With this being said, the demand forecasted until 2021, Fabricata's will be able to meet demand at current capacity.
There are 2 major demand constraints, being a tight labor market and technological constraints. For a tight labor, not having enough employees could cause a major setback in the process of assembly for Fabricata's. Technological constraints would take a toll on how efficient distribution can be. A potential bottleneck can occur from the ramp up in demand and rise of hours of work per week from Q3 to Q4 in 2020 and on, because process of assembly will not be fast enough. Throughout the 3 areas of concern, first is risk scoring methodology. We concluded, based off our score, that OpticFull, PharmaLeaf, and Metric pose the most risk. Next, change in inventory and potential obsolete inventory. There is a large amount of inventory at a high level of risk of obsolescence. Lastly, for capacity constraints, demand can be met at current capacity.